What are you waiting for? I'm right here. Come on, do it. Come on, let's rank our favorite Predator films. Come on. Prey just arrived on Hulu, and what can I say? I loved it, and it got me thinking about what my favorite Predator films are. So here is going to be a quick ranking of my least to most favorite Predator film. But before I continue, feel free to share your favorite Predator films down in the comments below. Starting the list at number 7 is The Predator. This is written and directed by Shane Black. Fred Dekker was also a writer on this, and this had a lot of studio interference and reshoots, to say the least. This film had style over substance, and in my opinion, it had too much comedy. It was almost like a parody of Predator in a way. But I love the actors. It's just the story in this isn't the best story. You know, you have great actors like Boyd Holbrook, Sterling K. Brown, Thomas Jane, Olivia Munn, Jacob Tremblay. And it's a cool story. This kid activates something that notifies a predator, and the predator arrives. And for the first half, you have a kind of a cool looking predator. These ex-soldiers have to fight this predator and stuff and hunt this thing. You get some cool references to Gary Busey's character from Predator 2 and Jake Busey, his actual son, playing the son of Keyes. Then they introduce like a genetically modified, I guess, scientific experiment predator, this like super predator. That's the Predator. You also get kind of like what they do in Stranger Things with the Demogorgons with like a predator dog, which they kind of introduced that in Predators. And to say the least, this is a disappointing entry in the Predator film franchise. And yeah, this one can be entertaining, but for a Predator film, it falls short, even though it's better than some other sci-fi films in our modern era. For a Predator film, I found it disappointing. At number 6, that's kind of tied with this, is AVP Requiem. Requiem is a mess of a movie, but I like the action. I can handle it more than the comedic quips and stuff of the Predator. The only thing is, it's a very muddled, dark-looking film. I wasn't happy with the first Alien vs. Predator film because, you know, like all the Alien films are R, all the Predator films are rated R. But when they come to fight, it's PG-13, so when this came out, I was highly looking forward to it. It was rated R, but you know what? Ratings don't matter if you don't have a good story, and this is evidence of that along with Die Hard 5. I don't care who the characters are. I don't even know what's going on. There's just like a lot of convoluted stuff happening. You can't see anything, and then the aliens and predators fight. But I do like the action. They have some cool scenes. The beginning has some cool effects with the predator landing. The missile attack at the end was great. But everything else is just like a bloodied mess of like silhouettes, dark lighting, bunch of blood, characters I don't care about. What's going on? Why is it happening? It's hard to follow. It's B-movie-ish. It's like a straight-to-DVD sci-fi film and not like an Alien versus Predator epic, you know? And it makes the first film look like a work of art. Above that at number 5 is AVP Aliens vs. Predator. We had a famous comic from Dark Horse, we had the video game, and this doesn't really follow that. And like I said, all the Alien films are rated R, all the Predator films are rated R, and when they come to fight, it's PG-13. What? I like the actors in this. You also have a cameo from Lance Henriksen. He's a main role at the beginning. Lance Henriksen plays a version of Bishop, as we saw in Aliens and Alien 3. And that's cool how they tie in the Weyland-Yutani Corporation with the Predator world in present day. They have to go to Antarctica. The flashback scenes that showed how the aliens and predators used to fight were just awesome. I mean, I remember that being in the trailer. I like this. I thought for PG-13 it stayed true to the aliens and predators mythology. And it has a lot of crowd-pleasing moments for both parties, to say the least. Me and my brother went to go see this in 2004, and it was quite something, but yeah, as I said earlier, if it's not the first, I'm just kind of like, okay, I could take it or leave it, but this is actually better than some other Versus films we've had in cinema history. After that, at number 4 is Predators. Predators was a film that I liked, but I didn't love. It was produced by Robert Rodriguez. We had another director direct it. And it had Adrian Brody in it. He got built. He was trying to totally pull off Arnold Schwarzenegger's physique from the original. They had a lot of cool references to the first film. You have Alice Braga, Danny Trejo, Lawrence Fishburne. Some great actors here. You get all these killers and mercenaries taken from Earth and put onto the Predator world for sport. And that's cool that we're in the jungle, but then we're on the Predator planet. That's something that Aliens vs. Predator should have done, to be honest, I thought. I like it for what it is. It introduces different creatures. We have a great fight. The last act is terrific. In many ways, it goes back to the essence of what made Predator such a great movie. And even though it's not up to the first two movies, it is a solid third entry, I would say. After that, at number 3 is Predator 2. Predator 2 is a film I did not really enjoy when I was a younger kid. I loved the original one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I was like, why didn't they just follow Dutch's character? They took it from the jungle to the concrete jungle of Los Angeles. But you know, now that I'm older, it's not the first film, but this is still a severely underrated science fiction film on its own. Danny Glover does a terrific job here. You have Ruben Blades, you have Gary Busey. Bill Paxton, may he rest in peace. Bill Paxton is the only actor to play a character who was killed off by an alien, Predator, and Terminator. How cool is that? Gary Busey's kind of all psycho as this government agent trying to freeze the Predator. And Danny Glover's just like this cop who's basically investigating these gang murders and murders all over LA trying to hunt down this Predator. I love what they do at the end of this, how they set up Aliens versus Predator. You know, the xenomorph skull on the ship, that was like a big deal back then. The gun that he's handed plays a bigger part in Prey, rewatching this now. But, you know, Predator 2 is not Predator, but it's still just as good and does something original. And I have to say, it's kind of like Lost World Jurassic Park. You know, it's never going to be Jurassic Park, but I respect the filmmakers and for trying to do something completely different. And because of that, Predator 2 stands on its own and is right up there with the first in my eyes. And it's probably one of the best Predator sequels. There's that great reference where he's taken off the mask. Danny Glover's taken off the Predator mask. And he's like, "You're one ugly mother." And then the Predator finishes the lines like, "Ugly motherfucker." It's just like, oh, wow. The disc drive kill was insane. Yeah, the Predator is brutal, and he's almost kind of like sassy. He has an attitude in this one, you know, but overall, it's not the first, but it's an underrated sequel that I think needs more love. After that, at number 2 for me is Prey. Prey looked great on the trailers, but I had some reservations because we all know what can happen with cool trailers in the movie. This is actually my favorite Predator sequel. I haven't loved a Predator film this much since the original, and like the original, it goes back to basics with the Comanches in a Native American era, and a Predator lands on Earth. And it's pretty much the first movie. And even though it's in English, I would have loved it like Apocalypto. And for that, I say on Hulu, go watch the Comanche dub version. There's a version that's actually all in Comanche that is great. Except for the closed captioning. I think it'd be better to watch it with subtitles on the Blu-ray without the closed captioning. But like, I like it that way. It feels more authentic. It's like, what if Apocalypto happened with a freaking Predator, you know? And you have Amber Midthunder and Dakota Beavers as the main two actors, brother and sister in this tribe. And she wants to prove herself with the men that she's a warrior, that she could hunt and nobody takes her seriously. She's the one that kind of discovers there's something out in the wild that's not a bear or nothing that's a regular creature. And that's one thing I have to say about this movie. It's great, but it would have been a bigger surprise if you had no idea it was a Predator movie. That's one thing that I love about Predator 1. It's like From Dusk Till Dawn, where it starts off as one type of movie and then turns into a completely different monster in the second half. This one, you already know about the Predator. Dan Trachtenberg does a wonderful job directing this film. You know, he did 10 Cloverfield Lane. He provides the same energy here. And it's cool seeing the Predator hunt these different creatures who are hunting their prey. That bear fight is bloody. And I'm glad he's back to being brutal. He reminds me of the Predator from the first movie. And it's cool learning how they hunt each other, seeing how the French and the other Europeans factor in, seeing the Predator just go complete carnage on them and just kill them all. And ultimately to that ending battle. That was an awesome battle where you just had crowd-pleasing moments. I mean, I haven't felt that pumped up since the original Arnold one. And I was wondering, how are they going to fight a Predator with futuristic weapons? Like, they have bows and arrows, and he still has the same weapons. They use his own weapons against him, and that is just brilliant. I love the ending. It teases to a future in the credits, and who knows, you know, that gun she had from that other guy, that gun's given to Danny Glover, so something might happen to them, unfortunately. I don't know. But I loved it. It reminded me a lot of the first movie, where, like, her tribe, her unit, is just killed off, and she has to fight this thing, much like Dutch and his unit in the original Predator. Prey, we need more movies like Prey. And it's sad that we didn't get to see this in theaters, because I would have loved to see this Predator film in theaters. I hope it comes out on Blu-ray so I could pit it with the first film. After that, at number 1 for me is the original Predator. There's no beating the original classic Predator from John McTiernan. I mean, that's a guy who directed Die Hard with a Vengeance, Last Action Hero, Hunt for Red October, Basic. He's a wonderful filmmaker, and Predator is just a classic film. Again, like I mentioned, like From Dusk Till Dawn, it starts off as one film and then completely changes. You think it's going to be a generic action war film like Rambo or Commando, then it turns into like the hunters becoming the hunted. Carl Weathers is great in this. Jesse Ventura. Again, Shane Black is in this as well. And it's just brutal. The kills are just absolutely brutal. And it's no wonder that this film is referenced to in all the sequels, including Prey, of like, if it bleeds, we can kill it, you know. I really enjoy this film, seeing the Predator infrared vision. And Arnold, you know, he's in his prime here, but he's like a regular mortal. He doesn't win flat out. His whole unit gets killed. He almost is dead until he falls in the mud, and I love it because this is one of the few movies in his prime where he's like beaten up to hell and back. Like, the Predator gives him a run for his money, and he gives the Predator a run for its money at the end. Come on, what are you waiting for? I'm right here. Do it. Come on, kill me. Do it. Do it now. That scene there, the Predator laughing, that ha 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 ha, the explosion. Oh my God. This film has so many memorable moments, and it's just an awesome movie that perhaps should not have even had a sequel. Like, this is a perfect standalone movie that did not need a franchise. But to say the least, I'd rather have some Predator than no Predator, much like Terminator. That's just a quick rundown of my favorite Predator films. Again, let me know your personal ranking down in the comments below. Let me know your least to most favorite, and let's have a good discussion. Let's share our Predator love. In the meantime, you can subscribe for more videos and check out these other videos for more content. May you all stay safe and healthy out there. Till next time.